Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be doing our full review on the Eovan Carbon GTS Super electric skateboard. This is the second video in a two-part series where we review this board. In the first video, we unboxed the board and took a first look at it, and in this video, we're going to be doing a full detailed review. If you haven't already watched part 1, we will leave a card to that video in the top right corner right here. This review video is going to be split up into categories that discuss various important aspects of the board. So we're going to be talking about the top speed, the range, the hill climbing ability, the acceleration and braking, the ride feeling on the street wheels and the AT wheels, and then some of the features of this board before finally wrapping it up with a nice conclusion. So to jump straight into the review, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the top speed on the GTS Super. Eovan advertises that the GTS Carbon Super has a top speed of 32 miles an hour on the base setup and can get up to 35 to 37 miles per hour with different gear ratios. We did a speed test with the RS125s in the stock setup, and we were able to hit exactly 32 miles an hour, so they are right on the dot with their spec'd top speed. 32 miles an hour is actually a pretty perfect top speed for me because I usually top out right around that on my other DIYs that can go even faster. Especially on these double kingpin trucks, anything around 32, 33 miles an hour and you can start to get the speed wobbles. So for me, I've been really happy with the top speed on this board. Next up, we have the range, and Eovan advertises that the GTS Carbon Super can go anywhere from 40 kilometers or roughly 25 miles to 75 kilometers or roughly 45 miles on a single charge depending on your wheel setup. We did a range test with the 6-inch pneumatic tires to get a worst case scenario, and we were able to get 22 miles of range out of the board with an 150-pound rider in 40-degree weather, so I was very impressed with the range that I was able to get out of the board. With street tires, I have no doubt that you could get within the range that they advertise. It really just depends on your wheels and your gear ratio and all sorts of other factors, but you can definitely expect a ton of range out of this board with that massive 852 12S4P battery. Although I've never tested it, I have no doubt in my mind that you could easily get 35 to 40 miles of range on this board with street wheels under the right circumstances. Third up, we have the hill climbing performance of the GTS Super, and Eovan advertises that this board can climb 46 to 50% grade hills, and I'm not sure that that even exists in the real world. I'm pretty sure the steepest one is only like 37%, but I can say that this board has extremely good hill climbing ability. As you can see from these clips right here, it just flies up any sort of hill that's thrown at it. Street tires, AT tires, those dual 3500 watt motors just power up everything. We took the GTS Carbon Super to two of our favorite steepest hills in our area. This one is right around 26%, and as you can see, the board just absolutely flies up this hill like it doesn't even exist. The other hill that we tested this board on is actually the steepest hill in Portland, and this one is right around 31% gradient. We used the 6-inch tires that came with the GTS Super for this test because we needed every bit of grip that we could get. As you guys can see from this video, the GTS Super had absolutely no problems on this 31% hill. We were able to get all the way on the throttle, so the board wasn't accelerating anymore and was just going up at a constant speed, but it was doing so at a pretty fast rate. If you guys are looking for a board with great hill climbing ability, I would definitely take a look at the GTS Carbon Super. The fourth category that we have is the acceleration and the braking on the GTS Carbon Super. And the acceleration of this board is absolutely ludicrous in the highest acceleration mode. I normally ride all of my boards in the highest speed mode, but this is the exception. I have to ride it in high mode instead of sport mode because in sport mode, I feel like I'm just going to get thrown off because the acceleration is so strong. It might not look like it on camera, but this board hands down has the strongest acceleration of any pre-built board that I've ever tried. The brakes on the board are great, they're super strong, super reliable. The only issue that I have with them is that they don't bring you to a complete stop if you brake all the way. This is especially apparent if you're on a hill and you're all the way down on the brake. The board just slowly rolls down the hill and doesn't actually come to a complete stop. It's not a huge deal, but it is always nice when the board does come to a complete stop on a hill, because if you're waiting at the bottom of a hill at a stop sign or something, you need to step off the board. Something unique that Eovan has added to the GTS Super is this menu within the remote controller that allows you to change the acceleration and brake intensity in each of the various speed modes. So you can really tune how each speed mode feels and make your board perfect just for you. The next category that we are going to discuss is the ride feeling of the GTS Super with the street wheels. We are using the RS 125s, which are one of the stock options for street wheels on this board. Overall, I have to say the board is pretty comfortable in the street version. I was originally very skeptical of the RS 125mm wheels, as I was not a huge fan of their other wheels, the RF 125s. I have to say that the RS 125s are extremely comfortable. The wheels feel super soft, and their massive 125mm diameter means that this board can really tackle any obstacles that are thrown its way, whether that be cracks, road imperfections, or even light rail tracks. So the board is able to pretty much go over any obstacles. There's nothing that's really going to throw you off the board. In terms of the actual comfort, I think the board is comfortable for the most part. Obviously, it's a unibody carbon fiber deck, which means that it has absolutely no flex. Coming from only having ridden bamboo and wooden decks, this was a massive difference for me. The fact that it has no flex means that your wheels are absorbing all of the vibrations that go through your board. The thick foamy grip tape on the top of the deck does actually help a little bit, but it's not super significant. Another major difference is the responsiveness of this board to turning. Because the deck doesn't really deflect or bend at all when you turn, the turning is pretty much instantaneous on this board. It's really reactive, which I think is super nice and allows you to really control your board. I will say that it's definitely important to be aware that this board does not have a whole lot of flex, and it's going to ride a little bit differently than a standard wooden longboard deck. The ride feeling on the AT tires is also super comfortable. They sent us the 155mm or roughly 6-inch pneumatic tires with this board for review. These ATs are a little bit harder than your traditional AT tire. They seem a little bit harder than the Evolve tires that I ride on some of my DIYs and some of the other AT tires that I've had come with other boards from Chinese manufacturers. I think that these are more intended to be used as dampeners on streets rather than for actual off-roading. So in terms of an AT tire, they're not really an AT tire, they're more of a large pneumatic tire used for street applications to make your ride a little smoother. Pretty much all of my other observations that I made with the street wheels are the same. These AT tires just make the ride a little bit more comfortable, so if you are considering this board, I would definitely recommend picking up a set of pneumatic tires, just because they do really help dampen the ride when the deck doesn't help that much. The final category that I'll talk about are the features that come with the GTS Carbon Super. The most impressive feature to me is their custom row controller that allows you to customize the acceleration and braking modes in each of the 4 various riding modes. This really stands out to me because it allows you to tune your board exactly how you want, so your braking can be stronger or weaker depending on how advanced you are of a rider, and you can really control your acceleration. Another feature that I found to be really nice is this handle that you can mount to the front of your deck. I leave it on there at all times, basically so I can just roll the board around or pick it up more easily. I've actually found it to be quite useful and I really enjoy it, despite not originally thinking that it would be that great. Another really nice feature is that you can power on the board using the remote controller. This is super useful so you don't actually have to manually push the power switch on the underside of your board every time you want to start riding. The final feature that's super nice is that you can lock your remote controller. This way you don't actually have to fully turn off the remote controller, and you can put it in your pocket without worrying that you might accidentally accelerate your board. So here are my concluding thoughts on the Eovan Carbon GTS Super. In summary, it's probably the best value high performance electric skateboard that you can get. It goes 32 miles an hour on a stock setup. It can go up to 30 to 40 miles depending on your street wheel setup. It can climb any hill that you throw at it, and it does so for $1,500 if you just get the 7-inch AT tires, or $1,700 if you use the setup that we have in our video, which is the RS 125s and the 155mm ATs. So for between $1,500 and $1,700, you're getting a board that beats out some of the other electric skateboards that are north of $2,000. In terms of the ride feeling, the board is comfortable to ride, though it is important to note that it is extremely stiff. It's super responsive, and the double kingpin trucks are carvy, so these are all important things to be aware of when considering this board. So, as a final conclusion, all I can say is that the Eovan Carbon GTS Super is a fantastic product, and I absolutely love this board. If you guys are interested in learning more about it, we will leave a link in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, let us know in the comment section and we will make sure to get back to you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, we have tons of other electric skateboard reviews and DIY electric skateboard content on this channel, so please make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for future videos. We'd like to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.